Welcome to Audiobook World. Today, we dive into one of the most influential books on strategy, manipulation, and power dynamics, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. In this audiobook summary, we'll explore the timeless laws that have shaped the decisions and strategies of powerful leaders, thinkers, and influencers throughout history. Whether you're looking to improve your personal influence, understand the principles of power, or gain insights into human behavior, this book has something for everyone. Stay tuned as we break down each of the 48 laws, offering key takeaways and practical examples to help you master the art of power. Let's unlock the secrets of success, one law at a time. In Chapter 1 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Never Outshine the Master, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of understanding power dynamics within hierarchical relationships. He suggests that it's crucial never to outshine those in positions of power above you. When you make your superiors feel insecure or threatened by your abilities, it can lead to their resentment and a loss of support. Instead, Greene advises that you should subtly make your superiors feel respected and admired, thereby ensuring their confidence in their own position. He illustrates this with the historical example of Nicolas Fouquet, the French finance minister, who tried to impress King Louis XIV by hosting an extravagant party. Instead of gaining favor, the display made the king feel overshadowed, leading to Fouquet's imprisonment and downfall. The key lesson is that when you outshine those in power, you risk alienating them and damaging your own position. Greene's law suggests that success comes from being tactful and understanding when to step back and allow others to shine. By making those in higher positions feel secure, you protect your own position and create opportunities for future success. In Chapter 2 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Never Put Too Much Trust in Friends, Learn How to Use Enemies, Robert Greene explores the delicate balance between trust and betrayal. He explains that while friends may seem loyal, their close relationship with you can lead to jealousy or complacency, making them unreliable in certain situations. On the other hand, enemies, though seemingly dangerous, can be more useful than friends because they often have more to prove and can be more dependable when it comes to achieving mutual goals. Greene illustrates this concept with historical examples, showing how many powerful figures throughout history gained more by turning enemies into allies rather than relying on friends. By using enemies strategically, you can keep them in check while benefiting from their abilities and resources. In contrast, relying too heavily on friends can lead to vulnerability, as they may take your loyalty for granted or manipulate you for their own gain. The key lesson from this chapter is that power often requires a careful understanding of human nature. Trust must be earned, not blindly given, and enemies, when managed wisely, can serve as valuable assets in your pursuit of power. In Chapter 3 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Conceal Your Intentions, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of keeping your plans and motives hidden from others. He explains that when you reveal your intentions, you give others the chance to thwart your plans or undermine you. By concealing your true goals, you create an element of surprise and keep others off balance, making it difficult for them to predict your next move or take advantage of your weaknesses. Greene uses historical examples to illustrate how successful figures have used deception and misdirection to achieve their objectives. By masking their true intentions, they were able to manipulate situations in their favor without drawing attention to their ultimate goal. The key to this law is to never show your full hand and to keep your strategies obscure. The takeaway from this chapter is that power is often about being unpredictable and mysterious. When you keep your intentions hidden, you maintain control over your circumstances and make it harder for others to interfere with your success. In Chapter 4 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Always Say Less Than Necessary, Robert Greene explains how speaking too much can work against you. He argues that when you talk excessively, you risk saying things that may not only reveal your intentions but also make you appear less powerful. People often use words to manipulate or deceive, and the more you speak, the more chance others have to use your words against you. Greene advises that silence is a powerful tool. By saying less, you create an aura of mystery around you, making others more eager to fill the silence and seek your approval. This makes them more likely to reveal their own secrets and make mistakes, giving you the upper hand. By controlling what you say, you maintain authority and respect, as people tend to admire those who can remain quiet and composed. The core lesson of this chapter is that power comes from restraint. Speak only when necessary, and choose your words carefully. By saying less, you increase your influence and keep control of the conversation. In Chapter 5 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled "So Much Depends on Reputation, Guard It with Your Life," Robert Greene emphasizes the critical importance of reputation in the game of power. He explains that your reputation is one of your most valuable assets, as it influences how others perceive you and how they will treat you. A strong reputation can open doors and secure power, while a damaged one can lead to ruin. Greene advises that you must always be vigilant in protecting your reputation, as it is easily attacked or tarnished. He suggests that you should carefully manage how others perceive you and be aware of situations that might threaten your standing. A solid reputation is built over time but can be destroyed in an instant, so it's important to defend it at all costs. Using historical examples, Greene illustrates how powerful figures carefully crafted and maintained their reputations to keep their enemies at bay and gain the trust and admiration of allies. A good reputation allows you to control your narrative and make others wary of challenging you. The key lesson from this chapter is that your reputation is your shield. It is worth guarding with everything you have, as it is the foundation of your power and influence. Always be aware of how your actions affect your reputation, and work relentlessly to protect it. In Chapter 6 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled "Quote Attention at All Costs," Robert Greene explains that attention is a critical element of power. He argues that in order to maintain power, you must always be the center of attention. If you fade into the background or allow others to overshadow you, you lose influence and become irrelevant. By standing out, you ensure that people will notice you, talk about you, and most importantly, remember you. Greene warns that seeking attention through grand gestures or flashy displays is not enough. The key is to control the narrative and the way others perceive you. Sometimes, this requires making bold moves or creating an aura of mystery around yourself. The more attention you attract, the more power you accumulate, as attention leads to influence, opportunities, and support from others. The chapter also stresses the dangers of being ignored or forgotten. When you lose attention, you lose your grip on power. Greene uses historical examples to show how great leaders and figures in power have mastered the art of courting attention, ensuring that they remained in the public eye and retained their influence. The main takeaway from this chapter is that attention is a form of currency in the pursuit of power. Always ensure that you are the focal point, never allowing yourself to be eclipsed by others. Your visibility and presence are the foundation of your influence and success. In Chapter 7 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled "Get Others to Do the Work for You, but Always Take the Credit," Robert Greene emphasizes the strategic use of others' efforts to achieve your own goals. He explains that one of the most effective ways to gain power is by leveraging the skills, talents, and labor of others while positioning yourself as the one who benefits. By getting others to do the hard work, you save time, effort, and resources, all while maintaining the appearance of being the leader or the key figure behind the success. Greene advises that you should never waste your energy on tasks that others can do for you. Instead, focus on managing people, guiding them, and using their abilities to advance your own position. However, it's crucial that you take credit for their work, as this elevates your status and strengthens your reputation. He illustrates this law with examples of historical figures who skillfully used their subordinates to accomplish their goals while reaping the rewards. Greene also notes that those who do the work for you may feel satisfied with the task itself, but you must ensure that they do not become too ambitious or seek to take the credit for themselves. The key takeaway from this chapter is that power is about efficiency and control. By delegating the work and absorbing the credit, you maintain a position of strength and control over the results, all while positioning yourself as the ultimate authority. In Chapter 8 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled "Make Other People Come to You, Use Bait If Necessary," Robert Greene advises that in the pursuit of power, it's essential to maintain control over the situation by positioning yourself as the one who holds the advantage. Rather than chasing after opportunities or reacting to others, you should make others come to you. This puts you in a position of strength, as it allows you to control the terms of the interaction. Greene explains that by creating an environment where others seek your attention, you are able to dictate the terms of engagement. This may involve offering something that others desire, such as information, resources, or opportunities, but always in a way that forces them to come to you. By doing so, you remain in control and can manage how, when, and why interactions occur. He also emphasizes the importance of patience, noting that sometimes it's necessary to bait others by presenting something enticing that draws them in. This tactic makes them feel that they are getting something valuable, but in reality, you are in charge of the exchange. The key lesson of this chapter is that power often comes from being in control of the situation, not chasing after it. By making others come to you, you maintain the upper hand and can manipulate the flow of events to your advantage. In Chapter 9 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Win Through Your Actions, Never Through Argument, Robert Greene argues that actions speak louder than words when it comes to gaining power. He explains that engaging in arguments often leads to unnecessary conflict and rarely results in a change of opinion. People tend to become defensive and entrenched in their beliefs, making it difficult to sway them with reasoning alone. By winning through action instead of debate, you demonstrate your strength, intelligence, and resolve without alienating others. Greene emphasizes that actions create tangible results, whereas arguments often only breed resentment. Winning through actions allows you to show your superiority and outmaneuver opponents without directly confronting them. This can be through strategic moves, calculated risks, or simply outworking your competitors. Actions, Greene argues, have the power to persuade and influence in ways words alone cannot. He also points out that arguments can undermine your reputation, as people often remember the conflict and may take sides. In contrast, actions speak for themselves and leave little room for doubt or controversy. By proving your point through action, you preserve your dignity and avoid unnecessary disputes. The main takeaway from this chapter is that true power is won through demonstrating your capabilities and achieving results, not by engaging in pointless arguments. Actions provide you with control and authority, making your point clear without the need for words. In Chapter 10 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Infection, Avoid the Unhappy and Unlucky, Robert Greene discusses the concept of emotional influence and how the attitudes and emotions of others can affect your own success. He explains that negative emotions, particularly unhappiness or bad luck, can be contagious, and associating with such individuals can bring down your energy, reputation, and even opportunities. Greene advises that you should avoid those who are perpetually dissatisfied or unlucky, as their negativity can hinder your progress. People who are constantly complaining or experiencing setbacks often have a pessimistic outlook, and their influence can drag you into their struggles. In contrast, surrounding yourself with positive, successful individuals can help lift your spirits and inspire you to perform at your best. He uses historical examples to show how powerful figures have distanced themselves from those who could negatively impact their fortunes, instead choosing to align themselves with individuals who bring positivity, good fortune, and success. Greene warns that emotions are powerful forces and can affect not only your mindset but your ability to achieve your goals. The takeaway from this chapter is that power is influenced by the company you keep. By avoiding the unhappy and unlucky, you protect yourself from the negative impact they can have on your own journey to success. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift and inspire, as they will help propel you forward. In Chapter 11 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Learn to Keep People Dependent on You, Robert Greene explains the power dynamics of creating dependency. He argues that the key to maintaining power is to make others rely on you for their success, happiness, or survival. When people are dependent on you, they have no choice but to keep you close and protect your position of power. Greene suggests that to achieve this, you must provide something that others cannot easily obtain elsewhere. Whether it's unique knowledge, resources, or abilities, you should ensure that your contributions are indispensable. Once you establish yourself as the one person who can meet others' needs, they will seek your favor and support, allowing you to manipulate situations to your advantage. He also warns about the danger of becoming too reliant on others, as this can put you in a vulnerable position. By mastering the art of creating dependency, you not only secure your position but also ensure that others will remain loyal to you, always seeking your help and guidance. The lesson from this chapter is clear: power lies in being indispensable. By making others dependent on you, you guarantee that they will have a vested interest in maintaining your position and supporting your goals. In Chapter 12 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Use Selective Honesty and Generosity to Disarm Your Victim, Robert Greene discusses the strategic use of honesty and generosity to gain trust and manipulate others. He explains that while complete transparency is not always beneficial, using selective honesty can disarm your opponents or targets, making them more vulnerable to your influence. By offering small gestures of honesty or generosity, you create a sense of trust that leads others to lower their defenses. Greene advises that these acts of honesty and generosity should be carefully timed and calculated. They serve as a tool to disarm those who might otherwise be suspicious or resistant to your influence. Once you gain their trust, You can then manipulate the situation to your advantage, knowing they are more likely to believe your intentions or be less cautious in their actions. The key to this strategy is knowing when to be honest and when to withhold the truth. By being selectively honest, you can use the truth as a weapon, subtly controlling how others perceive you and what they trust about you. Greene also highlights that this technique can be especially useful in situations where you need to gain an upper hand without revealing your full intentions. The takeaway from this chapter is that selective honesty and generosity can be powerful tools to gain trust, lower resistance, and disarm those who might otherwise challenge your plans. By controlling when and how you are honest, you can manipulate the perception of others and position yourself for success. In Chapter 14 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Pose as a Friend, Work as a Spy, Robert Greene discusses the strategic use of relationships to gather information and manipulate situations to your advantage. He argues that by presenting yourself as a friend, you can gain the trust of others, allowing you to collect valuable information about their weaknesses, desires, and plans without arousing suspicion. Greene emphasizes the importance of using these insights to advance your own position or to outmaneuver your opponents. By adopting the role of a friend, you lower people's guard, making them more open and less likely to withhold information. This allows you to work from the inside and use what you learn to your benefit. The chapter also highlights the subtlety required in this approach. It's not about being overtly deceptive, but rather about creating the illusion of friendship while secretly gathering intelligence. Greene cautions that while this technique can be powerful, it must be executed with care to avoid exposing your true intentions and damaging relationships. The key lesson from this chapter is that information is power, and by posing as a friend and working as a spy, you can gather crucial details that can help you navigate power dynamics more effectively. This tactic allows you to position yourself ahead of others without direct confrontation, using knowledge as your primary tool for influence. In Chapter 15 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Crush Your Enemy Totally, Robert Greene discusses the importance of eliminating your enemies without leaving any chance for them to recover or retaliate. He argues that when you engage with an adversary, you should not only defeat them, but completely crush them to prevent any future threats to your power. Leaving an enemy wounded or humiliated can give them the opportunity to regroup and rise again, possibly becoming even more dangerous. Greene explains that total victory requires thoroughness. It's not enough to simply weaken an opponent, you must ensure that their resources, reputation, and ability to fight back are destroyed completely. This might involve isolating them from potential allies, stripping away their support base, and ensuring that they are unable to rise again in the future. A clear, decisive victory is crucial to maintaining your position of power. He also cautions that the act of crushing an enemy should be done carefully, without unnecessary cruelty, as it's important to maintain your reputation. The goal is to neutralize the threat, not to create new enemies unnecessarily. Greene uses historical examples to show how leaders who failed to completely crush their enemies left themselves open to future conflicts. The key lesson from this chapter is that in the pursuit of power, any threats must be eliminated entirely to ensure your own safety and stability. A half-hearted victory can leave room for future struggles, so it's essential to finish the job completely and decisively. In Chapter 16 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Use Absence to Increase Respect and Honor, Robert Greene explains the power of strategic absence. He argues that by withdrawing from the public eye at the right moment, you can increase your value and make others appreciate your presence more. When you are always available or constantly in the spotlight, people tend to take you for granted. However, by occasionally removing yourself or limiting your availability, you create a sense of mystery and scarcity, which makes others value you more. Greene suggests that absence works to your advantage by increasing your importance. When you are out of sight, people begin to feel your absence and recognize your worth. This tactic is especially effective when they already established a strong reputation or influence, as your absence highlights what you bring to the table. It forces others to focus on what they're missing and makes them more eager to seek your attention and approval. He also points out that this law is not about withdrawing completely or indefinitely, but about knowing when to step back at key moments to maximize your value. The key is to create a sense of longing and desire for your presence, making it a rare and precious commodity. The main takeaway from this chapter is that power often comes from being able to control your presence. By using absence strategically, you can increase your influence and make others respect and honor you more. The less available you are, the more others will recognize your value. In Chapter 17 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Keep Others in Suspended Terror, Cultivate an Air of Unpredictability, Robert Greene emphasizes the power of unpredictability in maintaining control and influence. He argues that by being unpredictable, you keep others on edge, making them hesitant to challenge or confront you. When people can't anticipate your next move or understand your motivations, they are forced to treat you with caution and respect. Greene suggests that predictability makes you vulnerable, as others can easily plan against you. But by remaining unpredictable, you create an aura of power that keeps your adversaries guessing. They will be unable to rely on patterns or behaviors, making them wary of taking action that could backfire. This unpredictability can manifest in your actions, decisions, and even your moods, keeping others in a state of uncertainty and fear of potential consequences. He highlights examples from history, showing how rulers and powerful figures have used unpredictability to keep their enemies and even their allies in a state of fear and caution. The key is not to be erratic or chaotic, but to maintain an element of surprise and mystery that keeps people unsure of what to expect from you. The takeaway from this chapter is that power lies in creating fear and uncertainty in others. By being unpredictable, you force people to treat you with more respect and hesitation, which can solidify your position of strength and dominance. In Chapter 18 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Do Not Build Fortresses to Protect Yourself, Isolation is Dangerous, Robert Greene warns against the dangers of isolating yourself in an effort to protect your power. While it might seem like a good strategy to retreat into a fortress for safety, this isolation can ultimately make you vulnerable. By cutting yourself off from others, you limit your ability to gather information, form alliances, and maintain a sense of control over the dynamics around you. Greene argues that isolation can create a sense of detachment, which makes you more susceptible to attacks from those who are better connected. When you re-isolated, you lack the support network and insight that comes from engaging with the world around you. In addition, isolating yourself makes you more of a target because you are no longer visible or involved in the ongoing power plays that shape your environment. Instead of retreating, Greene advises that you should stay engaged with others, maintaining relationships and staying attuned to the shifting power dynamics. By staying connected, you can gather information, maintain influence, and manipulate situations to your advantage. Surrounding yourself with people helps you remain in the loop and more adaptable to change. The key takeaway from this chapter is that power comes from interaction, not isolation. Rather than retreating to a safe but vulnerable position, you should engage with the world, use your relationships strategically, and remain aware of the forces around you. By staying connected, you ensure that you can navigate challenges and retain your power. In Chapter 19 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Know Who You Are Dealing With, Do Not Offend the Wrong Person, Robert Greene stresses the importance of understanding the individuals you interact with and the potential consequences of offending the wrong person. He explains that every person has their own weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and emotional triggers, and failing to recognize these can lead to unforeseen and disastrous outcomes. Greene emphasizes that some people are more sensitive and volatile than others, and offending them can escalate quickly, especially if they hold grudges or have the ability to retaliate. It's crucial to carefully assess the personalities of those you deal with and understand what motivates them, what irritates them, and how far you can push before provoking a negative reaction. He also warns against underestimating individuals based on their apparent status or demeanor, as sometimes the most unassuming people can possess the power to destroy you. Understanding the character and capabilities of those around you allows you to avoid unnecessary conflicts and to choose your battles wisely. The main takeaway from this chapter is that power lies in discernment and caution. By knowing who you are dealing with and avoiding offending the wrong person, you protect yourself from potential threats and gain a deeper understanding of the dynamics at play, allowing you to navigate the social and political landscape with greater ease and success. In Chapter 20 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Do Not Commit to Anyone, Robert Greene advises that committing to any single person or group can limit your freedom and flexibility. By staying uncommitted, you retain the power to move freely and align yourself with whoever benefits you most at any given moment. Greene explains that when you commit to one party, you often become entangled in their conflicts, obligations, and interests, which can detract from your ability to pursue your own goals. The key idea in this law is that by remaining independent and avoiding the trap of loyalty or alliances, you protect your position and influence. Greene also notes that neutrality is a powerful tool. It allows you to observe the situation objectively and choose the most advantageous side when the time is right. People are less likely to try to control or manipulate you if they know you are not tied to any one group or individual. He suggests that by maintaining this independence, you gain respect and become more valuable to others, as people are drawn to those who are not beholden to anyone. You also avoid becoming vulnerable to betrayal, as there are no expectations of loyalty that could be exploited. The lesson from this chapter is that commitment can limit your power. By staying neutral and uncommitted, you maintain control over your actions and choices, enabling you to adapt to changing circumstances and retain your influence in various situations. In Chapter 21 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled "Play a Sucker to Catch a Sucker, Seem Dumber Than Your Mark," Robert Greene advises that sometimes it is strategically beneficial to appear less intelligent or capable than you truly are. By downplaying your abilities, you can lure others into underestimating you, which creates opportunities for you to outmaneuver them. This tactic is often employed by those who wish to gain an advantage by hiding their true potential, making their competitors or adversaries overconfident and vulnerable. Greene explains that people are often blind to the hidden motives of others, especially when they are made to feel superior. When you appear weaker, less intelligent, or less competent, your targets may lower their guard, thinking they have an easy victory. This gives you the chance to catch them off guard and strike when they least expect it, exploiting their overconfidence and weaknesses. The law emphasizes the importance of controlling how others perceive you. By presenting yourself as a sucker or someone less capable, you manipulate their assumptions and behavior. Once they have made this mistake, you can use your true abilities to gain an upper hand. The main takeaway from this chapter is that power often lies in misdirection. By playing a fool or appearing less capable, you can lure others into a false sense of security and ultimately gain the advantage when they underestimate you. This strategy allows you to control the game by manipulating perception and exploiting the flaws of your opponents. In Chapter 22 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled "Use the Surrender Tactic, Transform Weakness into Power," Robert Greene explores the idea that sometimes, yielding or appearing to surrender can be a powerful strategy. He explains that by giving in temporarily or feigning weakness, you can disarm your opponents and gain time or positioning to later regain control. Greene suggests that surrendering does not mean losing, rather, it's a tactical move that can make your enemy complacent, lowering their guard. By surrendering, you create an illusion of defeat and offer your opponent a false sense of security. This can prompt them to overreach or make mistakes, which you can then capitalize on. He also discusses the concept of surrendering with style, doing so in a way that preserves your dignity and keeps you in a position of relative power. This tactic works best when you know that direct confrontation or resistance would result in a loss, but giving in creates space for you to recover and turn the situation to your advantage later on. The takeaway from this chapter is that surrender can be a form of strength if used strategically. By temporarily yielding, you can turn a perceived weakness into a position of power, allowing you to regroup and eventually come out ahead. This law emphasizes the power of patience and the ability to play the long game when direct action is not yet the best option. In Chapter 23 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled "Concentrate Your Forces," Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of focusing your energy and resources on a single goal or target. He argues that spreading yourself too thin or dividing your attention between multiple pursuits dilutes your power and reduces your effectiveness. To achieve true success and power, you must concentrate all of your efforts on one key objective, focusing your energy and resources like a laser beam to achieve maximum impact. Greene explains that concentrating your forces allows you to put all your energy into the most important and valuable pursuits, ensuring that you are able to make a significant impact in those areas. When you focus on one thing, you can outpace competitors, overwhelm obstacles, and achieve your goals more efficiently. Spreading your efforts across many projects or people can leave you vulnerable, as you cannot fully invest in each pursuit or ensure that it succeeds. He uses historical examples to show how powerful figures have succeeded by focusing their efforts on a single target, using concentrated force to achieve great victories. Greene advises that, instead of taking on multiple battles or projects, you should choose the most promising ones and put all your energy into them. The key lesson from this chapter is that power comes from focus and concentration. By concentrating your forces, you can achieve greater success and overpower any opposition, ensuring that you make a significant and lasting impact. In Chapter 24 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Play the Perfect Courtier, Robert Greene discusses the art of mastering the subtle and complex dynamics of court politics, particularly the behavior expected in royal or high-status environments. He explains that to gain favor and power within such systems, you must adopt the role of the ideal courtier, someone who is skilled in the art of pleasing and flattering those in power while avoiding actions that might lead to resentment or hostility. Greene outlines the key traits of a perfect courtier: charm, patience, discretion, and adaptability. A courtier must know how to read the emotions and desires of those in power, carefully choosing when to speak, when to remain silent, and how to present oneself to appear as indispensable. The perfect courtier avoids direct confrontation or overassertion, instead focusing on subtlety and managing their relationships to advance their position without drawing attention to their ambitions. The courtier is also skilled in the art of praise, making those in power feel good about themselves, while never appearing insincere. This involves using flattery in a way that feels genuine, complimenting the strengths and wisdom of those at the top, and aligning oneself with their goals without appearing to be vying for their position. The main takeaway from this chapter is that to succeed in power structures, it's essential to master the social and political dynamics of those above you. By playing the perfect courtier, you can gain influence, secure favor, and advance your position while avoiding the pitfalls of overt ambition or conflict. The art of subtlety, discretion, and charm can help you navigate complex relationships and increase your power without drawing undue attention. In Chapter 25 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Recreate Yourself, Robert Greene encourages the reader to take control of their image and destiny by constantly reinventing themselves. He argues that in the pursuit of power, it is essential to evolve and adapt, rather than being stuck with a fixed identity or role. By doing so, you remain unpredictable, flexible, and relevant in ever-changing environments. Greene emphasizes the power of self-creation, suggesting that you should consciously craft your public persona to fit the circumstances and goals you wish to achieve. This allows you to project an image that aligns with the image you want others to see, rather than being defined by the perceptions or labels others may place on you. By controlling how you are perceived, you ensure that others will be constantly reacting to your movements, giving you an advantage. He advises that you should take inspiration from historical figures who have reinvented themselves to stay ahead of their rivals and maintain their power. The process of recreating yourself can be seen as a strategic way to overcome limitations, break free from the past, and reset your trajectory. The lesson from this chapter is clear. The ability to recreate yourself allows you to stay dynamic, relevant, and in control. By being adaptable and shaping your identity, you protect yourself from stagnation and ensure that you can maintain power in the face of changing circumstances. In Chapter 26 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Keep Your Hands Clean, Robert Greene advises that it is crucial to maintain a spotless reputation and avoid being directly associated with any controversial or unethical actions. He argues that power is often tied to the perception of one's character, and any involvement in morally dubious activities can tarnish your image, making you vulnerable to attacks and losing influence. Greene explains that to maintain a pristine reputation, you should delegate unpleasant tasks or actions to others, ensuring that you are never personally implicated in any wrongdoing. This allows you to appear above reproach, while still achieving your goals through indirect means. The key is to manage perception and always stay above the fray, keeping your hands clean and your involvement hidden from the public eye. He uses historical examples to demonstrate how powerful figures have remained untouchable by surrounding themselves with loyal subordinates who carry out dirty work on their behalf. This strategy allows the leader to maintain moral authority while still achieving their objectives. The takeaway from this chapter is that reputation is a critical asset, and the appearance of purity can often be more valuable than actual innocence. By keeping your hands clean, you protect your image and preserve your power, ensuring that you remain untarnished by the negative consequences of the actions you orchestrate. In Chapter 27 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Play on People's Need to Believe to Create a Cult-like Following, Robert Greene discusses the power of creating a compelling vision or cause that people can rally behind. He explains that humans have a deep need for belief, whether it is in a cause, a leader, or an ideology. By tapping into this need, you can attract followers and build a strong, loyal group around you, similar to a cult following. Greene argues that by offering people something to believe in, whether it's a cause, a movement, or a grand vision, you can manipulate their emotions and loyalty. This belief gives them a sense of purpose and connection to something larger than themselves, which is what makes them more susceptible to following you. The key to this law is to create a narrative that resonates with people's desires and fears, making them feel that they are part of a greater mission. The chapter highlights that, much like the leaders of cults, those who harness this power are skilled in creating an aura of mystery, excitement, and devotion. They draw in followers by offering them something they crave, whether it's belonging, a sense of direction, or validation. Greene suggests that the ability to manipulate people's belief systems can be a powerful tool for gaining influence, as people are often willing to follow someone they perceive as providing a sense of security and meaning. The main takeaway from this chapter is that belief can be a powerful tool for building a loyal following. By offering people something to believe in, you can attract followers, control their emotions, and leverage their devotion to further your own goals. Creating a cult-like following allows you to gain influence and power through the loyalty and belief of others. In Chapter 28 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Enter Action with Boldness, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of decisiveness and boldness when taking action. He argues that hesitation or uncertainty can create doubt in others and weaken your position, while boldness commands respect and attention. When you enter any situation with confidence and assertiveness, you project strength and authority, making it more likely that you will achieve your desired outcome. Greene explains that the key to bold action is not just about being fearless, but about having a clear sense of purpose and unwavering commitment to your goal. Boldness forces others to take you seriously, and it leaves little room for opposition to gain traction. People are naturally drawn to those who act with certainty, and this can give you an advantage, as it encourages others to follow your lead or back down in the face of your confidence. He also advises that bold action should be carefully calculated, as rash decisions can lead to disastrous results. Boldness is most effective when it is based on a strong foundation of planning and preparation, as this ensures that you can back up your actions with substance and strategy. The takeaway from this chapter is that boldness is a powerful tool for gaining respect and achieving success. By acting decisively and with confidence, you project strength and control, which can help you dominate situations and influence others. Whether in personal or professional matters, approaching challenges with boldness is key to maintaining power and achieving your goals. In Chapter 29 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Plan All the Way to the End, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of foresight and thorough planning in achieving lasting power. He argues that to succeed in any endeavor, you must always think ahead and anticipate potential obstacles, risks, and consequences. Planning only for the immediate outcome is short-sighted and can lead to failure. It's essential to have a clear vision of the entire process, from start to finish, and to plan for every possible scenario that could arise. Greene explains that those who fail to plan for the long term often find themselves caught off guard when unexpected challenges emerge. A well-thought-out plan gives you control and the ability to respond effectively to changes in the situation. By planning all the way to the end, you ensure that you have a clear sense of direction, and you are less likely to be distracted or swayed by short-term events or temptations. He also stresses that flexibility is key in the planning process. While it is essential to have a plan, you must also be prepared to adjust and adapt as circumstances change. The ability to modify your approach without losing sight of your ultimate goal is a hallmark of effective planning. The main takeaway from this chapter is that power comes from long-term vision and preparation. By planning all the way to the end and anticipating possible obstacles, you can navigate through challenges and achieve your objectives with confidence and control. A strategic, forward-thinking mindset is essential for maintaining power and ensuring success in the long run. In Chapter 30 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Make Your Accomplishments Seem Effortless, Robert Greene discusses the art of appearing effortless in your success. He explains that people are naturally drawn to those who make difficult tasks look easy because it conveys mastery, control, and superiority. When you achieve great things, it's important to downplay the effort involved, as showing too much struggle or hard work can make you appear weaker or less capable. Greene advises that by masking the effort behind your success, you can project an image of natural ability and ease. This creates the illusion that you have extraordinary talents, leading others to admire and respect you. If you constantly show the struggles and difficulties you face, you risk being perceived as ordinary or less competent. He also explains that making things look effortless can be a powerful form of manipulation. By hiding the true effort, you keep your methods and skills mysterious, which can make you seem more powerful and elusive. People will be more likely to follow you if they believe your success is a result of your inherent abilities rather than sheer hard work. The takeaway from this chapter is that the way you present your accomplishments can greatly affect how others perceive you. By making your successes seem effortless, you enhance your image, increase your influence, and create an aura of effortless mastery. This strategy helps you maintain control and project power without revealing the true work that went into your achievements. In Chapter 31 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Control the Options, Get Others to Play with the Cards You Deal, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of controlling the choices available to others in order to manipulate their decisions and actions. By limiting the options others can choose from, you can guide them toward the outcome you desire while giving them the illusion of freedom. This tactic ensures that others play into your hands without realizing they are being steered in a particular direction. Greene explains that when you present people with a limited set of choices, especially choices that seem appealing but ultimately benefit you, they are more likely to choose one of those options. This method of controlling the options subtly influences people's behavior, making them believe they are in control when, in fact, you are the one shaping the choices they face. He also notes that offering too many options can overwhelm people, leading to indecision or dissatisfaction. By controlling the scope of what's available, you not only make it easier for others to choose but also ensure that the decision aligns with your goals. The key takeaway from this chapter is that true power lies in the ability to shape the choices others make. By controlling the options presented to others, you create an environment in which their decisions benefit you, giving you the upper hand while maintaining the appearance of freedom and fairness. This strategy allows you to subtly manipulate situations and maintain control over outcomes. In Chapter 32 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Play to People's Fantasies, Robert Greene advises leveraging the power of fantasy to gain influence over others. He explains that people are often more motivated by their dreams, desires, and fantasies than by reality. By tapping into these deep, emotional needs, you can attract followers, gain support, and manipulate situations to your advantage. Greene argues that when people's fantasies are catered to, they are more willing to follow you, believe in you, or do what you ask, as they feel that you are fulfilling their most cherished hopes or desires. Greene suggests that understanding what people truly wish for, whether it's success, wealth, love, or power, gives you a significant advantage. By offering them a vision or promise that aligns with their fantasies, you can captivate their attention and loyalty. This allows you to lead others by appealing to their emotional and psychological desires, rather than relying on reason or logic alone. He also emphasizes the importance of creating an aura of mystery or idealization, which can make you appear as the key to unlocking people's fantasies. By presenting yourself as someone who can deliver the impossible, you generate excitement, intrigue, and devotion from others. The main takeaway from this chapter is that by appealing to people's fantasies, you can manipulate their emotions and desires to gain their support and influence. When you make their dreams seem attainable through your leadership or guidance, they become more willing to follow you and serve your interests, all while remaining under the illusion that they are achieving their personal desires. In Chapter 33 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Discover Each Man's Thumbscrew, Robert Greene focuses on the power of understanding others' weaknesses and vulnerabilities. He explains that every person has a thumbscrew, a hidden insecurity or sensitive point that, when discovered, can be exploited to gain control over them. Identifying these weaknesses gives you leverage, allowing you to manipulate or influence others without them realizing it. Greene argues that in order to truly gain power over someone, you must pay close attention to their behavior, habits, and emotional responses. People often reveal their insecurities or desires through subtle cues, whether it's through their body language, their words, or their actions. Once you identify what drives or frightens them, you can use this knowledge to your advantage, either by using it as a tool of persuasion or by steering the person's actions to align with your interests. He also warns that it's important to never directly confront someone's weakness or vulnerability. Instead, you should use it discreetly and in a way that makes the other person feel as though they are still in control. By doing so, you maintain your power while manipulating them into taking actions that benefit you. The key takeaway from this chapter is that power often lies in understanding others' vulnerabilities and using that knowledge to subtly influence them. By discovering each person's thumbscrew, you can gain the upper hand in interactions, making others more likely to do your bidding without realizing they've been manipulated. In Chapter 34 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Be Royal in Your Own Fashion, Act Like a King to be Treated Like One, Robert Greene discusses the importance of self-confidence and projecting a sense of authority in order to command respect and power. He argues that how you carry yourself and how you present yourself to others determines the way they treat you. If you want to be treated with respect and deference, you must first see yourself as deserving of that treatment. Greene explains that by adopting a regal attitude, you create an aura of power and influence that others will naturally be drawn to. Acting with the self-assurance of royalty, carrying yourself with grace, dignity, and control, instantly elevates your status in the eyes of others. When you behave as though you are above the crowd, others will perceive you as such, and they will be more likely to defer to your authority and treat you accordingly. This law also involves maintaining a sense of personal boundaries and not allowing others to diminish your sense of worth. By projecting an image of strength, self-respect, and nobility, you establish yourself as someone who is not to be taken lightly. Greene suggests that even if you don't have actual power, acting with the confidence of someone who does can lead others to treat you as though you do. The main takeaway from this chapter is that self-respect and confidence are key to gaining respect from others. By acting with the presence and assurance of royalty, you signal to the world that you deserve to be treated as a person of importance, and others will be inclined to treat you as such. In Chapter 35 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Master the Art of Timing, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of understanding when to act and when to hold back. He argues that timing can make the difference between success and failure. Acting too early or too late can undermine your efforts, while waiting for the right moment maximizes the effectiveness of your actions. To master timing, you must observe situations carefully, anticipate changes, and know when the opportunity is ripe. By acting at the right moment, you can ensure that your actions have the greatest impact and achieve the desired results. In Chapter 36 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Disdain Things You Cannot Have, Ignoring Them is the Best Revenge, Robert Greene advises that sometimes the best way to handle a situation is by disregarding what you cannot control or attain. Instead of obsessing over things you cannot have or situations where you are at a disadvantage, it is wiser to show indifference and move on. By displaying disdain and refusing to engage with something or someone that you cannot win, you not only protect your own energy but also demonstrate strength and self-control. Greene explains that when you obsess over unattainable goals or people, you give them unnecessary power over your emotions and actions. Ignoring them, however, shows that you are above being affected. This move also leaves others unsure of your intentions, which can add an element of mystery and elevate your position. The main takeaway from this chapter is that by refusing to pursue the unattainable or give attention to things that frustrate you, you can maintain your dignity and power. It's a strategy that highlights your emotional independence and reinforces your control over the situation. In Chapter 38 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Think As You Like But Behave Like Others, Robert Greene stresses the importance of blending in with the crowd while maintaining your own independent thoughts and beliefs. He explains that while it's essential to have your own opinions, expressing them too openly can alienate you or make you a target. Instead, it's often more beneficial to conform to social norms and expectations in public, even if you privately hold different views. Greene suggests that adapting to the behavior of those around you allows you to gain their trust and avoid unnecessary conflict. By behaving like others, you can avoid drawing attention to yourself, making it easier to move through situations unnoticed. However, this doesn't mean abandoning your beliefs. It simply means keeping them to yourself and avoiding confrontation. The key takeaway from this chapter is that you can maintain your individuality while ensuring your actions align with the social context. This allows you to blend in and avoid the risks of standing out, all while quietly retaining your power and influence. In Chapter 39 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Stir Up Waters to Catch Fish, Robert Greene discusses the power of creating confusion and chaos to manipulate situations to your advantage. He explains that by stirring up tension, uncertainty, or disorder, you can distract and disorient your competitors or enemies, making it easier for you to achieve your goals. In moments of confusion, people are more likely to make mistakes, revealing their vulnerabilities or acting in ways that benefit you. Greene suggests that sometimes, it's not about directly confronting your opponents, but rather creating an environment where they struggle to make clear decisions. By creating turmoil or uncertainty, you can position yourself as the calm, rational actor who is able to navigate the situation effectively, while others are caught in the chaos. The main takeaway from this chapter is that stirring up confusion can give you an edge in situations where others might falter. By creating turmoil, you can destabilize those around you, making it easier to control the outcome and achieve your desired result. In Chapter 40 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Despise the Free Lunch, Robert Greene advises against accepting free favors or gifts, as they often come with strings attached. He argues that when you accept something without paying for it, you become indebted to the giver, which can lead to manipulation or control. Free offerings can also diminish your own sense of self-reliance and independence, making you vulnerable. Greene suggests that to maintain power and autonomy, you should always pay for what you receive, whether with money, effort, or resources. By doing so, you avoid being controlled or obligated to others, ensuring that your position remains strong and untainted by debt. In Chapter 41 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Avoid Stepping into a Great Man's Shoes, Robert Greene warns against following in the footsteps of someone who has already achieved significant success. He explains that when you try to emulate a great person, you will always be compared to them and fall short in the eyes of others. Instead of trying to replicate their achievements, you should carve out your own path and establish your own identity. Greene advises that it is better to build on the legacy of the great individual, or even surpass them in your own way, rather than attempting to copy their exact actions or strategies. By creating your own unique mark, you avoid being overshadowed by their reputation and create a lasting, independent legacy for yourself. The key takeaway is that by trying to fit into someone else's shadow, you limit your potential. To gain true power, it is important to forge your own identity and avoid direct comparisons with others who have already made their mark. In Chapter 42 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Strike the Shepherd and the Sheep Will Scatter, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of targeting the leader or central figure in a group to weaken the entire group. He explains that when you eliminate or neutralize the person who holds power or influence within a group, the rest of the members will often fall into disarray, losing direction and cohesion. Without the guiding force, the group becomes vulnerable and easily manipulated. Greene suggests that if you want to break up a rival group or diminish an opponent's strength, you should focus on taking down their leader first. Once the leader is removed, the group will lack the structure and guidance they once had, making them easier to control or defeat. The key takeaway from this chapter is that in any situation where you face opposition, targeting the leader or central authority figure is an effective strategy to weaken the group and increase your own power. In Chapter 43 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Work on the Hearts and Minds of Others, Robert Greene discusses the importance of winning people over emotionally to gain influence. He emphasizes that manipulating emotions and connecting with others on a deeper, emotional level is often more effective than relying on logic or force. People are generally more motivated by their feelings, desires, and insecurities than by reason. Greene advises that to gain power, you should focus on making others feel understood, valued, and emotionally invested in you and your goals. By appealing to their desires, fears, and emotions, you create strong bonds and loyalty. This emotional connection allows you to influence their decisions and actions, making them more likely to follow your lead. The key takeaway is that by working on the hearts and minds of others, you can gain their trust and loyalty, which in turn gives you significant power and influence over them. Emotional connections, when built strategically, are powerful tools in any pursuit of power. In Chapter 44 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Disarm and Infuriate with the Mirror Effect, Robert Greene discusses the power of reflection and mirroring in gaining control over others. He explains that by mimicking someone's behavior, attitude, or actions, you can disarm them, making them feel uncomfortable, confused, or even enraged. When you mirror someone, they may not immediately recognize it, but it subtly disrupts their sense of control, making them more vulnerable. Greene argues that using the mirror effect can be a powerful way to disorient opponents or competitors. By reflecting their actions or style, you throw them off balance, causing them to lose confidence or misstep. The key to this technique is to do it subtly, so that the other person feels as though they are acting in ways that are out of character or unnatural. The takeaway from this chapter is that mirroring can be a highly effective tactic for disarming opponents and gaining the upper hand. By subtly reflecting someone's behavior, you create confusion, make them question their actions, and weaken their position, all while maintaining your own composure and control. In Chapter 45 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Preach the Need for Change, but never reform too much at once, Robert Greene emphasizes the importance of introducing change gradually. He warns that people are often resistant to change and that drastic reforms can create fear and pushback. To gain power, it's better to preach the need for change but implement it slowly, step by step, to avoid overwhelming others. Greene suggests that by easing people into new ideas or systems, they are more likely to accept and adapt to them. Change should be framed as a necessary evolution rather than a complete overhaul, allowing people to feel they are part of the process. Sudden, drastic reforms can lead to confusion, instability, and rebellion, whereas gradual changes are more easily absorbed and accepted. The key takeaway is that while change is essential for progress, it must be managed carefully. By introducing change incrementally, you can gain support and avoid the backlash that comes from sweeping reforms. In Chapter 46 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Never Appear Too Perfect, Robert Greene discusses the dangers of presenting yourself as flawless. He argues that perfection can create envy and resentment in others, leading them to undermine or attack you. By appearing too perfect, you set yourself up as a target for those who feel inferior or threatened by your perceived superiority. Greene advises that it is often wiser to show some imperfections or flaws, as this humanizes you and makes you more relatable. People are more likely to admire and respect someone who seems real and approachable, rather than someone who appears untouchable. Additionally, showing a few weaknesses can create opportunities for others to feel superior, making them less inclined to challenge you. The key takeaway from this chapter is that while it's important to be confident and skilled, it's equally crucial to avoid presenting an image of flawless perfection. By embracing small imperfections, you protect yourself from envy and make others more comfortable around you. In Chapter 47 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Do Not Go Past the Mark You Aimed For, in Victory, Learn When to Stop, Robert Greene advises that knowing when to stop is crucial to maintaining power. He explains that achieving victory is not enough. The key is knowing when to stop pushing and consolidate your gains. Overreaching after a win can lead to unnecessary risk, resentment, and ultimately, a downfall. Greene suggests that people often make the mistake of pushing too far, driven by ambition or the desire for even greater success. However, overextending can erode the power you've already secured. It's important to recognize when you've reached your goal and take the opportunity to pause, secure your position, and avoid creating new enemies. The key takeaway from this chapter is that in moments of success, restraint is vital. Knowing when to stop and secure your victory prevents you from losing everything you've gained and ensures that your power remains intact. In Chapter 48 of the 48 Laws of Power, titled Assume Formlessness, Robert Greene discusses the power of adaptability and flexibility in maintaining control. He argues that by remaining fluid and formless, you can avoid being pinned down by others and can navigate any situation with ease. When you become rigid or predictable, you give others the chance to anticipate your moves and counter them. However, if you remain adaptable and constantly shift your approach, you keep your opponents off balance and unable to effectively challenge you. Greene suggests that those who adapt to changing circumstances and are not tied to a single course of action have the advantage. By assuming formlessness, you can slip through difficult situations and take advantage of new opportunities as they arise, without being constrained by prior plans or expectations. The key takeaway from this chapter is that flexibility and adaptability are essential for maintaining power. By remaining formless, you make it difficult for others to predict or control your actions, allowing you to stay ahead in any situation. Thank you for listening to this summary of Chapter 48 from the 48 Laws of Power on the Audiobook World channel. We hope you found it insightful and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this chapter summary, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Join us next time as we dive into more powerful lessons from Robert Greene's work. Stay tuned, and remember, knowledge is power.